Zombieland Double Tap is the sequel to the beloved 2009 post-apocalyptic zombie satire and takes place 10 years after that film. And the gang consisting of Woody Harrelson's Tallahassee, Jesse Eisenberg's Columbus, Emma Stone's Wichita, and Abigail Breslin's Little Rock is still together, and the film focuses on them fighting against new types of zombies and meeting new people, and also just getting into different misadventures like they normally do. But it's especially when the members of their group decide they want to move on and do their own things, or at least a couple of members. I really enjoyed the first Zombieland. It has many sequences that I love. The main characters are extremely likable, and it's just a good comedy in general. And zombie satire films weren't something new when the first one came out, but it still felt semi-fresh with the way that they did it. And now, when we have the sequel coming out 10 years later, it's not so fresh at this point. Before I get into my thoughts on the film, I first want to remind you guys to hit that like button, and also to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Now, let's get into my review of Zombieland Double Tap. The comedy overall was alright. It had certain bits where there were gutbusters. I mean, that Columbia Pictures logo change at the open was unexpected and hurt me so good. And the jokes about a company like Uber, which would never have existed in the universe of Zombieland because of when it started, you know, for obvious reasons, were funny. But as the film marches on, it begins to be less funny. I'd say the first half of the film is where most of the laughs were for me. My favorite part of this film by far was Woody Harrelson. Tallahassee is honestly the most likable character in this movie, and if I remember correctly, he was also my favorite character in the first one as well. And Harrelson is just a treasure to behold as always. He's just one of those naturally charming people, those charming presences in any movie that he's in. And the funny part is that he spends most of his time in the film just driving a vehicle that he absolutely hates and just hoping that he can see Elvis's Graceland. And this never feels tiring thanks to Harrelson and his performance. One big praise that I heard many people give this film when it came out was on this new side character that showed up, played by Zoey Deutch, who plays this airhead that Columbus meets after Wichita and Little Rock have been gone for a while. And while I agree that Deutsch's performance is good, and she played the character well, I did not like the character. Sometimes I can enjoy that sort of airhead sort of character in comedies, but that's if they're either written well or their dialogue is written well. And I don't think anything that she said was funny, and I didn't like anything about the character. But while I never thought that Deutsch's character was funny, I thought that the reactions from Wichita involving her character were probably the best things involving that character, and this is mostly thanks to Emma Stone's over-the-top, snarky, sarcastic wit that we all know and love. And that's the main reason why I loved her in this film. But back to talking a bit about Deutsch's character. The existence of her character and the love triangle that forms between her, Wichita, and Columbus is a bit too soap opera-y for this film, so it just feels so abrupt and forced when it happens. It feels this way because it just didn't feel natural. The only reason it happens is because Columbus decides to propose to Wichita, and it freaks her out. You know, despite the fact that they've been together for 10 plus years, and when you really think about it, in a post-apocalyptic world, marriage doesn't really mean anything, especially in Zombieland. But regardless of that, it never made sense that she reacted the way that she did, where she just decides to leave the group with her sister. So because of that, it leads to a lot of arguing and bickering throughout the film that felt that it's just staged as humorous, but just wasn't because of the disconnect. It's one of the reasons why I thought the quality of the comedy, of the humor, lessened as the film went on. One big thing that returns for this film that the first film had is the utilization of what was called the Zombieland rules that Columbus created they were really good in the first one, and they actually found a way to make them integral to the narrative, which I really liked. But for the sequel, they don't feel integral to the story and almost feel like the butt to a joke, which is just another reason why I keep saying the comedy lessened overall. All of the side characters, particularly the marquee names like Luke Wilson and Rosario Dawson, show up for short periods of time and work well with their given material, but sadly, most of these marquee names just hardly leave an impression and are basically cannon fodder in the long run. All of these factors bring me to this opinion. Zombieland Double Tap feels like a cash grab. The first film ended in such a wonderful and kind of uplifting place for these characters, but they didn't seem like they knew what to do with these characters, so they instead like throw ratchets into place to where the film kind of turns into a glorified soap opera. But at the same time, I wasn't upset that it existed. I mean, I had fun with what I liked and didn't care for what I didn't care for. Sure, it was a lesser experience overall, but I don't know. The film just didn't justify its existence, but at the same time it was okay. I don't know. Go watch it if you haven't already. Maybe it'll be fun for you, but otherwise, with that, my review ends here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, don't forget to hit that like button, and also don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, farewell until the next video, all of you casual moviegoers and movie fans alike, and keep on being awesome, my friends.